If you want to develop a high quality serve, then you need a really consistent ball toss. If you can't place the ball where you need it to each time, it's really hard to learn a technique and it prevents you from being consistent in matches. So what I want to do in this video is talk about an underlying problem and thing that prevents players from developing a consistent ball toss. So I'm going to show you a very simple assessment that you can do and then talk about some training strategies to try and improve the underlying situation so that then with practice you'll be able to develop a more consistent ball toss. Hopefully you enjoy the video. If you do, be awesome if you give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel before, it's much appreciated if you could do that as well. So obviously in order to develop a consistent ball toss, you have to practice it and you have to work on it in a focused way. So if you haven't done that part, then that's what you need to do. But if you have tried consistent practice and you haven't been able to develop a level of consistency, then it tells us there's an underlying limitation. And for the vast majority of people, it comes down to coordination. For everything in tennis, there are prerequisites. Your body has to be capable of doing the thing that you're trying to do. If it isn't capable, you won't be able to do it. It's pretty logical when someone says it out loud like that, but I find a lot of players don't think through this. And when it comes to the ball toss, people are using their non-dominant arm, and a lot of the time, the coordination simply isn't good enough, and that's one of the things that prevents them developing a consistent ball toss. So I want to show you a really simple assessment, and there's a few different assessments that we could do, but here we're just going to focus on one that I've done with hundreds of players, and I found out that it's a problem for the vast majority of tennis players that are slightly older, so kind of 40s, 50s and above. Most people struggle with this, so I want to show you it and talk about how to train it and improve it. So what we're going to be doing is a shoulder blade circle. You need to be able to control your shoulder blade in order to be able to control your ball toss. So the shoulder blade circle looks like this. You're going to have your body still, you're going to have your head completely still, and you're going to be trying to make a smooth circle with your shoulder blade. But you're going to do this keeping your arm parallel to the floor. So what I mean by that is my arm is staying like this. It's not pointing down, it's not pointing up. I'm keeping it in this position. Are you able to make a smooth circle where you go down and back? You then go all the way up by your ear. You then go forwards and down. Can you do that? And can you do it in both directions while you're keeping your elbow completely straight and while you're keeping your arm parallel to the floor? Or when you try and do it, does your head start to move? Does your arm bend as soon as you try and pull your shoulder blade back? Does it move up and down because you can't control the shoulder blade well? So that's the way that you do the assessment. It's extremely simple. Give it a try now. Can you do it following all those key coaching points? Elbow straight the whole time, arm parallel to the floor, spine still, head still, trying to make the smooth circle. And it can be a really good idea to record yourself on camera like I'm doing here, or potentially doing it in a mirror so you can see what's going on. Because I find a lot of players, they're not able to sense it just based on feel, so getting visual feedback is going to be a great way to find out what's happening. Okay, how did you get on with the assessment? Leave me a comment down in the comment section and let me know. Were you able to do it smoothly? Were you able to keep your arm straight, keep it parallel to the floor, or did funky things go on? And if you struggled with doing this, then we obviously want to work to improve your shoulder blade control. Because if you can't control your shoulder blade, if you can't control your shoulder, just standing in your front room doing nothing, it's going to be a basic impossibility that you'll suddenly be able to control things perfectly when you're adding in other complications and things that you need to focus on at the same time. So luckily, this is one that we can work on. We can train it, we can improve it. And generally, we break things down into a couple of components. I find for most people, they have to break it down into an upwards and downwards component, or an elevation and depression. So you basically go into that same position, arm straight, arm parallel to the floor, and then can you lift your shoulder blade up? And can you lower it under control? Start out nice and slow. Again, it can be useful to look into a mirror to kind of get visual feedback, but are you able to bring it up by your ear? Are you able to bring it down? Just practice doing that slowly and under control. Then, from there, move to forwards and backwards. Can I protract and retract my shoulder blade? And sometimes it can be useful to make a gentle fist and imagine just kind of gently punching something as you go forwards, or you can think about maybe standing an inch away from a wall, having it behind you, so then I could just kind of come with my shoulder blade, can I touch the wall, and then can I gently punch forwards, just kind of thinking about different ways to cue the motion. But can you do up and down, elevation and depression, then forwards and back, and then from there you're going to turn it into a funky kind of square shape. So I'll go down and back, then up, then forwards, then down and back, and then obviously reversing that, forwards, up, back, down, and then starting to smooth it out and turn it into a circle. So that's generally a simple training progression that you can use to try and correct the problem. And I find for a lot of players that works and they're able to improve in this area. But sometimes it doesn't always give the improvements that you want, because you need to try and find other ways to address the coordination. So maybe the spine isn't moving properly, maybe some of the nerves aren't quite doing their job. There can be a number of different things that affect coordination, but we've got different ways to train and improve all of them. And if you'd like to learn more about how to do that, this is what I do with tennis players. I teach them how to use brain-based training to become better tennis athletes, to become more skillful tennis athletes, because you can only play at the level that your body will allow you to play. And the reality is that most players are out there, they're watching videos on YouTube, they're trying different techniques, and they don't have the coordination, the physical skills to enable them to use those techniques. Whereas using brain-based training, we can change that. We can make you more skillful, and then when you're more skillful, you'll be capable of playing high-level tennis. I've created a class that's going to teach you more about how to do that. It's also going to explain a little bit about my program and how I work with players, and I'll place the link to that down in the description so that you can go through that class if you're interested in learning more. Otherwise, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Like I said, leave me a comment. Let me know how you got on in the comment section. How did you get on with the training exercise? Any questions, leave those down there as well. Again, if you enjoyed the video, thumbs up are always welcome. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, it's always much appreciated if you do that as well. And I'll catch you next time.